meeting is called to order. It is March 17th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Norris, would you call the roll?
Mayor McClellan.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Whitehead. Councilmember Edgar. Councilmember Radner.
Here.
Councilmember Crawford.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. The consent agenda are routine items presented without approval, for approval without discussion as a single item. Any member wishes to discuss or disapprove an item, it can be dropped from the blanket motion and considered separately. A, regular city council meeting minutes for March 3rd, 2025. B, payment request from Newman Smith Architecture for architectural services on the Event Hub and municipal services move for the total amount of $1,857.20. C, request for payment for the pre-demolition hazardous materials survey project M778 to American Environmental Consultants, AEC of Detroit, Michigan, for the total amount of $14,600. D, maintenance agreement with the Road Commission for Oakland County for street sweeping, litter picking, and lawn mowing services on Greenfield Road from 8 to 10 mile roads and on 10 Mile Road from Greenfield to Maplefield. Is that in Oak Park, Maplefield? Yeah. E, Public Safety Activity Summary Report for February 2025. F, new and renewal licenses for March 17th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Recognition of visiting elected officials. I think that we will probably at the next meeting get our treasurer, Robert Wittenberg, to talk about foreclosure prevention. If you are concerned about foreclosure, they bend over backwards to help you. So please contact your treasurer's office in Oakland County. Item 7, our special honoree today, K-9 Officer Mace and his public safety officer, Michael Hodakowski, are retiring together. And for that, we have a video.
I think I'm going to read this thing first.
Do we have a video? No?
We do. I think he thought we were going to read this.
Oh, we're going to do this first? Aha.
Okay.
In March, City Council voted to approve the city's first K-9 unit to serve and protect the citizens of the City of Oak Park. I'd like to invite Officer Mike Hodakowski and his partner Mace. Officer Hodakowski was chosen from a pool of qualified candidates to serve as the city's first K-9 handler.
Wow. Look at the
So again, I'd like to welcome Mace and the K-9 team. I'd like to thank Council for their support in backing this program. It's going to do great things not only for the community, but for the safety of the officers that work to serve the communities.
Okay, I would like to take this opportunity to read this special recognition. This is special recognition of Michael Hodakowski. Mike, the mayor, council, and administration of the City of Oak Park, Michigan, in testament and tribute to his distinguished public service and lasting contributions to the City of Oak Park and its residents, wish to express their sincere appreciation to Michael Hodakowski. You have served as a pillar of integrity in this organization and have helped set the city's high standard of excellence. You have served as a source of guidance, support, and leadership for your colleagues, and it is those qualities that will leave a lasting imprint on the City of Oak Park. Your dedicated spirit, wealth of knowledge, and overall dedication to the City of Oak Park will be sorely missed. Signed, Marion McClellan, Eric Tungate, City Manager. Mike, I can't believe we are sitting here talking about not only your retirement, but Mace's retirement. It seems like just yesterday that we were welcoming Mace in, and it's just for your incredible dedication and service. Thank you so much on behalf of all the employees of this city. And I would like to turn it over to Public Safety Director Steve Cooper to say a few words as well.
I appreciate it. Thank you, boss. Echo what you said as well. Officer Hodakowski, I've had the honor and pleasure of working with Officer Hodakowski for the past 23 years. We brought him over from Detroit, stolen from Detroit. He spent 2 years as a Detroit police officer before coming to Oak Park. His career at Oak Park, he's a highly decorated officer who's received numerous awards and citations throughout his distinguished career. His career speaks for itself. He's held numerous positions within the department, to include field training officer. He was promoted to the rank of detective, where he served for several years in our investigations bureau. He's one of our top investigators, working on some of the most difficult and challenging cases. Officer Hodakowski is an evidence technician. He has served in a role as vice president for the Oak Park Public Safety Officers Association, and just recently stepped down as the president of the association due to his retirement. For the past 8 years, he's been the department's K-9 officer, and like I said, the very first in the history of Oak Park. He and K-9 Mace will be retiring effective March 31st of this year. Oak Park's K-9 team of Officer Hodakowski and Mace are well known throughout the entire southeast region of Michigan, and they are recognized as the gold standard by all. K-9 Mace has also, without a doubt, had an honorable and a very distinguished career. Officer Mace and Officer Hodakowski have been on hundreds of deployments throughout the state of Michigan, assisting numerous agencies. They have been directly responsible for tracking and apprehending countless suspects, recovering voluminous amounts of evidence and weapons, which led to some of the most dangerous criminals being taken off these streets. And to both, we owe a debt of gratitude. The countless hours and level of commitment from both has been priceless. The positive impact that you've had on the lives of so many in the city of Oak Park will ever be remembered. And again, Officer Hodakowski, has been truly an honor service alongside you for the past 23 years, and then, like I said, the last 8 with K-9 Mace. So I wish you all the best as you begin the next chapter of your life. Love you. May God continue to bless you and keep
Amen.
you. You come have a few words.
Amen.
I'd first like to start off by saying thanks to the city manager, city council for giving me the chance to be the first K-9 officer in the history of the department. 8 years ago, I was chosen for this position. Had no idea how it would affect my life and my family's life. Not only did Mace essentially become a third child, he also altered the entire dynamic of our family. We had to make sacrifices over the years in regards to family vacations, family outings, as we always have to plan things around his needs. With this being said, I wouldn't have changed my decision in the world in a second. It is the best position in police work. It has allowed me to form friendships outside of this department that will last a lifetime. Mace is one of the most respected canines in Southeast Michigan, has one of the highest success rates for tracking suspects, with well over 25 successful finds. When outside agencies needed a canine, it reached a point where I would receive personal cell phone calls to see if we were working, because the surrounding officers knew just the success that we had. I'd like to thank Director Cooper for everything he has done for me over the course of my career. I've been fortunate to be chosen for several opportunities within the department. He's been extremely supportive with the canine position, never once questioned the decision that I made, and always gave me support. Within the training group, I've seen the administrations of several other agencies attempt to make changes in canine programs without having any knowledge on how or why we as canine officers do the things we do. It has led to turmoil for several handlers, and I'm thankful that Director Cooper has maintained both his trust and confidence in Kyle, who's our new handler, and myself, and he's allowed for continuous training and has given his unwavering support. I'm confident that Kyle and Vader will exceed all expectations and continue the legacy of the canine unit within this department. I'd like to say thanks to Lieutenant Meyer. He's been there since day one for me as my canine supervisor. He's never once questioned the decision that I made. He's done everything possible to make the program a success. If I ever needed a piece of equipment or wanted to attend a specific training, he made it happen. He'd follow up with me after to make sure everything went as I expected. His leadership skills are a model for other bosses within this department to follow. To my fellow officers, I want to thank each and every one of you. You've been my extended family for the past 23 years. Over the course of the years, we shared countless laughs and unfortunately a few tears. Always remember to treat everybody as you would want to be treated. When faced with a difficult decision, rely on your training, what your gut tells you to do. I know everybody's going to miss the countless treats that I continually supply to the station. I'm going to remember to keep on periodically sending in those goods. Finally, to my wife and kids, I want to say thank you for all the support you've given me over the course of my career. My wife has endured this emotional roller coaster that comes with this profession for over the last 20 years, never once complained or resisted your career decision that I made. Through this, we raised two wonderful children who I couldn't be more proud of. As a family, we had no idea the level of commitment that was required when I got Mace. And we worked as a team, found the ins and outs of how to make things work. Without the support, I don't know if he would be the dog that he is, or if I even would have stayed in this position. In closing, I'm excited to move on to the next chapter. No longer have to miss football games, basketball games, and give my undivided attention to my family. Thanks to everybody. It's been a good ride.
Yes, sir. That's subtle too. Thank you. Thank you. No pictures. Yeah, exactly. You better just do thank you.
Wow. Oh. Yeah.
Makes me want to follow the speed limit more closely.
You know what? I did not know that Mace was one of the, I did not know that Mace is the top tracking K-9 team in
not
Metro
know.
Detroit.
I did not know that either.
I didn't know that. And that people are calling all the time because he has such a high win record.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that. But that should go out on social media somewhere.
We don't
Yeah.
want to make Vader jealous.
Does Vader read? Wait a minute.
He's like a quarter, and his demeanor he's a lot
Calmer, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, they hang out every day.
So I don't know how we follow that, but here we are down to special licenses. Item 8A, request for special event license submitted by the Oak Park Arts and Cultural Diversity Commission for a World Dance Day event to be held on April 27th, 2025. It's always April 27th, no matter what day of the week it falls on. It's at the Oak Park Community Center from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Because it is a city commission, there is no fee. Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. B, request for special event license submitted by Train Station Sports Limited, 14661 West 11 Mile Road, for the Berkeley Cubs Family Social Event to be held on April 4th, 2025, from 4 o'clock to 7 p.m. Because it is a business, they do pay the fees. Is there a motion to approve the request? Second. All those in favor? Aye. They are requesting a waiver
Right now,
of
I'm looking
fee.
at it right now.
B is
That's a mistake,
Oh, okay, fine.
because it's a business, it's a for-profit business.
Okay,
So they
all right.
pay the fee.
But they've already paid the fee, yeah.
And they have.
Okay,
paid.
okay.
Good catch, though, thank you.
All right, well, in that case, then I just didn't want the record to be inconsistent with what's on the paper.
Good, good. Let me see, we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. C, request for special event license submitted by Dog and Pony Show Brewing, another for-profit company, 14661 West 11 Mile Road, for their 4-year anniversary celebration to be held on May 31st, 2025, from 12 to 5. And they put on a good show, so mark that date down and come on by. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Accounting reports. Approval for payment of invoices submitted by Garen Lukow Miller, our wonderful attorneys, for legal services, the amount of $16,647.93.
So moved, Madam Mayor, so moved.
Yes.
Wait, where are you? I got
9A.
14,603.
9A,
Okay.
got it. Is there a second?
A second.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please, because it's money.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously. 9B, approval for payment of an invoice submitted by Schiffman Fournier for legal services retainer for April 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2025, in the total amount of $20,000. We always approve these the quarter ahead. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion?
I do have one question.
Yes.
about this. So this was for labor negotiations?
Yes.
And so the 20,000, which is through June, so how many quarters? Do we pay the 20,000 retainer every quarter to Schiffman Fournier?
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Yes, we do, and we pay it in advance, but it's not just for labor negotiations, it includes other personnel matters as well.
Personnel.
Personnel, yeah.
Yes, not personal.
Personal.
Exactly.
Okay,
No,
thank you.
thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes,
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
it's unanimous, passed. B, no, we got B. Next, I think we need engineer Kara Grissomer, who mention angels and hear the flutter of their wings. She is our city engineer, and she will discuss the bids. 10A, request to award the bid for the 2025 Joint Seal Project, M780, to Scodeller Construction Incorporated of Wixom, Michigan, for the total amount of $150,000. We can get a motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you. And then a discussion.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council, City Manager. At the January 21st, 2025 regular meeting of the Oak Park City Council, the request to bid the 2025 Joint Seal Project M780 was approved. The project was advertised and 39 contractors viewed the documents. On February 17th, 2025, 3 bids were received and opened. The low bidder, Scodeller Construction of Wixom, Michigan, submitted a bid of $177,339.86 for the joint sealing project. This project will seal the joints and cracks in the pavements shown on the attached maps. We checked references and they were very good. The low bid was over the engineer's estimates, so we are awarding it for the budgeted amount of $150,000. Quantities will be adjusted as necessary to complete the project within the budgeted amount.
Can you explain joint seal? Where does this happen and what do they do?
So most of our pavement cracks, and we have concrete joints, which is just an engineered crack. Those joints and cracks allow water to go through the pavement, which is not good for the subbase. So in order to prevent the water from going through, We seal it with an asphaltic compound. It's a black, kind of looking stuff, and they apply it hot to the pavement after having cleaned it off and blown out all the cracks, so that the tar adheres to the pavement.
And it expands and contracts?
It's flexible, so yes, it expands and contracts with the pavements.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Bids 10B, request to award the bid for the 2025 Catch Basin Line Replacement Project, M779, to Luigi Ferdinandi and Son Cement of Roseville, Michigan, for the total amount of $293,318.62. Is there a motion to award the bid?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Would you discuss what a catch basin line replacement is exactly?
Yes, so as you know, we have deeper combined sewers in Oak Park. These are the shallow storm sewers that pick up the water off the roads, the runoff. And so these pipes are 3 to 5 feet deep, and typically, so that's why we elect to open cut these and replace them that way instead of the sewer lining that we do on the deeper sewers.
And I thought that, that we didn't like to line the ones that are coming in with the water because we didn't know what the plastic was going to do to the drinking water. So why do we care if it's storm water going out?
So the stormwater pipes are older. A lot of them have collapsed or have separated joints. So those get put on our list for replacement in this project.
Got it. Any other questions? Roll call, please. Nope. Do we have a motion and a second? Yep.
Sorry. Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes, motion carried, thank you. And C is request to approve the proposal from Testing Engineers and Consultants, TEC, of Troy, Michigan, to provide construction testing for the not-to-exceed amount of $58,560. Can we get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
And second, thank you. What is construction testing?
Construction materials testing includes sampling concrete, sampling our aggregates that we use as backfill for density testing. They will, they'll come in and they'll take density tests at the end of the day for the water main project or for the catch basin line replacement project. They'll take samples of the concrete so that we know that the pavement is strong enough to reopen to traffic. So they'll break them back at their shop, the little cylinder samples that they take, they'll break them and then they'll tell us, okay, it was 4,000 PSI or 3,000 PSI, and we can make the determination on when to open back up roads and pavements.
Thank you. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
We actually need a motion on this one.
Don't need, didn't we?
Yeah, I thought we.
Did we?
had a motion.
I made the motion and
Oh,
Solomon
oh,
seconded.
thank you.
We're moving too fast for you tonight.
All right. A roll call then?
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes, motion carried, thank you. D is a request from Capital Landscapes of Oak Park, Michigan, for a contract extension of the 2024 lawn maintenance contract. Is there a motion to extend the contract? No?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you.
We should all wait. Oh, hey,
And
look
we
who's-
have Deputy City Manager Dave DeCoster up here. This is only referring to lawn maintenance, not those, like by Lincoln, the garden that was planted with the tree that died and the bushes that died?
Correct, this is just our lawn maintenance.
Ah, okay. I can complain about the other another time.
Well, in about 15 minutes.
Sorry?
In about 15 minutes when I ask for that contract
All
extension.
right.
But before you tonight is a request from Capital Landscapes to extend the 2024 lawn maintenance contract. The city is in agreement and would also like to extend the contract. This project is a little bit unique, and Capital is requesting a 5% fixed rate change order for this project. The city has looked into other recent bid quantities, bid amounts in other communities, and is in agreement with this fair request. What this will do is this will continue to have Capital Landscapes provide the quality project they did last year for us. So with the approval of this recommendation, a change order totaling $4,824.96 will be approved for a total contract amount of $101,324.16. Funding is available in the major and local streets fund, the water sewer fund, and the public works funds for this expenditure. It is also important to note that Oak Park will be reimbursed $14,485 from the Road Commission of Oakland County and MDOT for the portion of work on their roadways. So it's recommended the City Council approve the contract extension to Capital Landscapes of Oak Park, Michigan for the 2025 lawn maintenance contract for a total amount of $101,324.16. This includes a change order in the amount of $4,824.96.
Madam Mayor,
Do we need a
question.
motion?
do we need a motion?
We need a motion.
So moved.
No, we have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We need a second.
Second.
Thank you. Radner and Edgar, any discussion about the lawn maintenance?
I do have a question. So the $100,000, is that for 2025, or is that the total two-year contract?
That's the total for 2025. And it's not we pay as they go. So there'll be times in the heat of summer that we will have them skip a week. We may not have them do certain areas. We only pay for what they mow that week. This is a total contract award you're approving. So at this point, we can go up to that amount. We rarely do hit that amount. Like I said, in the summertime, we may hold them back on certain areas. But that's the total for this current year.
So do they do all the lawn maintenance for our parks?
They do most of them. Our DPW crews still do some of the larger areas. We have some of the bigger equipment that's a little more efficient. So we will do Tyler Park, we'll do part of Shepherd Park, we will do Key Park, Best Park. So we will still maintain some of our parks ourselves.
And what is the 5% fixed rate modification? What does that mean?
So when we approached Capital, we looked at their pricing from last year. They had indicated that they were not making a large profit last year. At that point, we were going to go re-out for bid, and we looked at bids from last year, and Capital was significantly lower as opposed to the second, and third, fourth low bidder. We also looked at other agencies and what they have bid out, the pricing that they've bid out for their lawn maintenance, and we felt that a 5% would be fair to both sides, and it would allow us to extend the contract, approving a change order today for 5%. Again, the 5% is only the work they perform. It's not a blanket 5% increase.
Further question?
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Roll call vote then.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
and Councilmember Crawford.
Motion carries. Thank you. City Manager Eric Tungate.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. Before I go through the city manager report, I would like to take this opportunity. I see our Oakland County Treasurer, Robert Wittenberg, is here, and I know he has a foreclosure presentation that we're going to be showing on the screen, right?
Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I apologize for my tardiness. Is that better?
We just
I
put you in
apologize for
where
my
you
tardiness.
fit.
I was at Southfield doing this presentation before, And for some reason, this meeting was at 7:30 on my calendar, so I kind of meandered over here and didn't rush, and I apologize. So
Okay.
thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk now. It's nice to see all of you, and congratulations to our newest council member. It is that time of year again, the tax cycle. So that's why I'm out and about doing what I can to try to prevent foreclosure here in Oakland County. So I have my presentation, but I can look up here. So March 31st is the deadline for people to pay their 2022 and prior year taxes. So if anyone owes 2022 or prior year taxes, they are subject to foreclosure this year on March 31st if they don't pay those taxes off or enter a repayment agreement with our office. So there we go. So just to give you a little idea of some of the things we're doing in our office, there's a lot of different departments, a lot of things going on. I don't have to go into all this tonight, but we usually just have this here. So you see some of the things that are happening with our team up in Pontiac. But the main reason we're here, so talk about the foreclosure cycle, the tax cycle. So again, it's a 3-year cycle. The first year is when parcels get turned over delinquent. So taxes are due to, specifically here in Oak Park, you have your summer and your winter tax bills. Those are due by the end of February. And if they're not paid by the end of February to Oak Park, then they are turned over to our office. And then we become the collections agent, and they are delinquent at that time. So right now, if anyone still owes their 2024 taxes, those are payable to our office. Don't go here to Oak Park. They'll send you over to our office. So just FYI, we have a lot of people that happens to. But so that cycle, again, delinquency is that first year. So this just kind of holistically looks at the picture. So this is for 2021 taxes for 2024 foreclosure year, just to give you an idea, right? So that year, that top number, 41,465, that was the total parcels turned over delinquent. 39,344 paid in full. So, they were not subject to foreclosure because they paid those 2021 taxes off. And I want to make sure people understand also, each tax year is independent of every other tax year. So right now, if you owe 2022 taxes, you're subject to foreclosure. If for some reason you paid your 22s, but you owe 21s, you're subject to foreclosure, right? So it's any tax year or combination of tax years, 22, 3 years, and prior. So again, and then 1637, that was the amount of people who reached out to our office, or we reached out to them to enter a repayment agreement with them. So they worked with us with a taxpayer assistance meeting, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Ultimately, the bottom number is the number of foreclosures. So 131. It was our second lowest. That was last year, our last auction last year. Again, 24 auction, 21 taxes. That was our lowest foreclosure number since the year prior. The year prior was about 90, and that was the lowest we've ever had in Oakland County. So we had that for the 2023 auction year. So now we're talking about the 2025 auction year. Why I'm here today. But so this, I want to give you kind of holistic data, and then we have Oak Park specifically. So just so you can kind of see that, the impact that, or how people are paying their taxes, or who's paying their taxes here in Oak Park specifically. So this is, again, 2023 foreclosure data. So this would have been 2020 taxes. That 1194 is what was turned over delinquent, right? So that would have been the 2020 taxes weren't paid by that February of 21. They got turned over to us in March. 315 forfeited. So forfeited just is the second year. First year is delinquency. Second year is forfeited. Third year is foreclosure. Forfeited just means that the treasurer puts a lien on the property. We do not take the property. And again, this is across all 83 counties, right, in the state are doing this. And then the foreclosed were 13. And then for foreclosed properties, they go to a land sale. And that is required by law to go to the land sale. You'll see that the number doesn't match up because we go through file review, and there could have been some, we didn't service the right property address, right? Or there's a new interested party who came along when we were doing title search, those kind of things. So some do get withheld. There can be other mistakes, but obviously we err on the side of caution and we'll withhold them from foreclosure. So that was the 23 year. To give you an idea of the 24 year, so this was the most recent one of last year. So 2021 taxes, again, 1,000 turned over delinquent, so that is slightly lower than the year prior. And then forfeited was 310, foreclosed was 3, and 3 went to a land sale. And so the sale the auction, the online auction. I'm being redundant. I was going to say it's online. It used to be in person. My predecessor used to do it in person. That was no longer feasible. The venue was no longer available. The auctioneer was no longer available. And so we want to do something that kind of opened it up for more people to participate in the auction. So again, that's Oak Park specifically. So I won't go through all of this, but this is, again, kind of the timeline I talked through. Year 1 is that delinquency when it gets turned over. Year 2 is the forfeiture. Year 3 is the foreclosure. But our goal, and I always say this, our office, we're charged with collecting taxes. That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to foreclose on anybody, but obviously the law stipulates that if people don't pay or enter a repayment agreement, foreclosure is kind of that last step. So that's why I'm out here speaking to as many communities as possible, and why I'm here in Oak Park to talk about this, that we're trying to prevent foreclosure. So if the foreclosure does happen, after the foreclosure, so after March 31st, the foreclosure happens, and then you have until July 1st to submit a claim form for your surplus proceeds. So if you owed, let's say, $10,000, the property sells for $100,000, that $90,000 in between is any interested parties who filed a claim form are entitled to that surplus. And it's the judge that grants it. It's a judicial process. It's not our office specifically. It's due to our office, the form, but the judge is the one who handles the case. Throughout that whole process, there's interest, there's fees added. We encourage people not to become delinquent with their taxes because it can add up, their interest and fees. We have no control over that. We cannot lower someone's taxes, interest, or fees. So we really encourage people to pay, because the more you pay up front, the less you pay in the long run, because interest is being added the first of every month. And then just on the right gives you an idea of some of the notifications. Those are the statutorily required notifications. We actually go above and beyond and send more than that. We also visit the property twice. So we want to make sure that people are aware that they owe the taxes and they are subject to foreclosure. So we're out here doing the work. I kind of went through all this, but again, the timeline, the 3-year process, March 31st is the deadline. Within our office, I encourage people to call our office. Again, we have those taxpayer assistance meetings I mentioned earlier. They're one-on-one meetings with people now over the phone. They used to be in person, and we can do phone, or if you want to come in, but we talk about your unique situation and how we can help you get onto a repayment schedule and see if there are other resources that are available. We also, within our office, have a financial empowerment center. So in essence, like a financial coach, and they can help people that are struggling. And so reach out to us, and on the next page, I think I'll give that contact information. The community outreach, again, that's what I'm trying to do to get out to as many communities as possible. We also put this out there on different local papers, on TV, ads, just encouraging people to make payments. And then kind of the bottom one, help spread the word. So if anyone here knows anyone that owes their 2022 or prior year taxes, please have them reach out to us if they haven't already. I'm wrapping up, I promise. So our Financial Empowerment Center, I mentioned that. The phone number to call, 248-858-0672. The website, oakgov.com/treasurer.
Repeat that phone number.
Yep, 248-858-0672. And then our website, oakgov.com/treasurer. Also, you guys have your own in-house assessor, right? So there is a poverty exemption for those that qualify based on income, just FYI. You have to call the Oak Park City Assessor to see if you do qualify. So just want people to be aware of that as well. An entity on the one on the right there, they are not part of the county, but they're someone that we refer people over to. Lakeshore Legal Aid is a free legal service for low-income families and seniors. Again, they handle everything but, my understanding is criminal law and traffic citations. So, but everything else that falls under, they can help you with. Their phone number is 1-888-783-8190. Their website is lakeshorelegalAid.org. Then we have our upcoming, so just an FYI, we actually recorded the videos and then we're editing them now. It's a series that will kind of help people on questions about pop-up taxes when they buy their home, about the tax cycle, principal residence exemption, understanding your assessment notice that you get, things like that. So people have questions all the time, so we try to do like quick videos that will educate people on these topics. So those hopefully will be live in the next few weeks. The editing process has been taking longer than we expected, but we want to make sure everything is proper if we're putting this out there. So stay tuned. We'll send it over to you when it's live. And that's it. So I tried to go through that as quickly as I could, and thank you for giving me the time to interrupt before you were about to speak. But ultimately, if I said this, I'll say it again, though. We don't know you need help unless you tell us you need help. So please reach out to us. Again, if you don't hear, people at home, if you're listening and you didn't hear anything else I said, please remember that. Please reach out to us because we want to help you. We want to prevent foreclosure. And so this is, all the contact information is here. Please reach out to us. And with that, I will turn it over to if you have any specific questions or anything else I can cover.
Any questions? Councilmember Edgar?
Thanks for coming in.
Good to see you. Yeah, thank you. And thanks for being flexible with your time for me.
So how does Oak Park rank in terms of foreclosures now in Oakland County?
So the foreclosures, to give you an idea, right? So last year there were, what was that number, 100 and something foreclosures, right? And only 3 were in Oak Park. So there's 62, in essence, 62 cities, villages, and townships in Oakland County. And out of those 62, you only had 3. There were some, a few that didn't have any, right? You have a few communities, and there's some smaller communities, right? Like Lake Angeles is, I think, 300 people, and I'm not sure that anything gets even turned over delinquent there. So it's different in different communities, but that's a relatively low number. I mean, you think of kind of the height of after the recession, and again, it's lagging, right? Because that 3-year process. So after 2009, 10, after, 3 years kind of after that, was when there were 1,600 foreclosures in Oakland County. That number has gone down significantly, and so that that gives you an idea of Oak Park as compared to the rest of the county. Our highest, I would say, is Pontiac. Without looking at the numbers, I'm 99% sure Pontiac is our highest. I don't know those numbers offhand. I went and I spoke to them almost a month ago now. Geez. So I would say they're the highest. But you guys, it's those numbers are pretty good, all considering the size of the community here. And Oakland County, there's about 500,000 parcels in Oakland County, so it's big. I mean, we're the second biggest county in the state. So
do you track who buys these properties?
So the auction is, again, it's a public auction online, and it is public information. Whoever buys it obviously has to. We transfer ownership to them, so they have to have a deed, right? So it is public information, but it's whoever, they can start an LLC, they can do whatever they want, but that is public information once the deed is recorded. So you can actually see.
But is your office tracking for any reason?
We are tracking because if somebody, thank you for that question, actually. If somebody has delinquent taxes on other properties, we prohibit them from bidding. So there is some tracking, as much as we can. They're also like myself, my family, and our office, we're not allowed to bid on Oakland County properties. So we are tracking to make sure certain people aren't bidding and to make sure that people have paid their delinquent taxes. And there's people who get banned from bidding based on if they purchased a property in a year prior and then back out on the bid, then you're banned for a certain amount of years. So, yeah.
Thank you, thank you so much for being the treasurer with a heart.
Thank you. I'm following in good footsteps.
Yeah.
Mr. Treasurer, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all for the work you do. This was my old home, right? I left you in 2017. I was in Oak Park for 5 years, but I miss you, and I love everything that's happening here. And I think I end up in Oak Park more than anything to eat dinner and have a bite or have a drink. It's that 11
You can
mile
say that
corridor.
now.
That 11, yeah, I can. That 11-mile corridor is like I'm literally right across Coolidge, so I come over quite often.
Do you walk or do you drive?
I walk. I definitely walk.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I mean, I'm literally the first block off of Coolidge, so it would be, that'd be pretty sad if I drove the block and a half to like Oak Parker or one of the other. I guess there have been, let me just say, there has been a time when it was cold out where I might have driven to like Oak Park Social, something at the other end. I might have driven once or twice. I'm tattling on myself, but for the most part, I walk there.
Thank you so much.
So, All right, thank you all again. Good to see you all.
Good to see you.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, 11A1, I have Eric McLaughlin here from Dickinson Wright, and he is our, besides that he has a great first name, he is our bond attorney. Council members, we have reached the point of looking for this resolution from you this evening for the issuance of the bonds for our community center project. So, Eric, with that, if you could give us an overview, that would be great.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Thank you for having me, members of the administration. Just what Eric was saying, this is the big formal legal step for the city council to take in authorizing the issuance of the bonds. If you recall, about this time last year, the city council adopted a reimbursement resolution, which is a procedural resolution under the tax code qualifying prior project expenditures for reimbursement from bond proceeds when bonds get issued. This resolution before you is a bond authorizing resolution. It sets in motion the authority that was granted by the voters at the November 2023 election. It authorizes issuance of bonds up to $44 million, which is what was authorized in the ballot proposition. It authorizes the bonds to be issued in one or more series, and we did that because with a lengthy construction project, you may need to issue more than one series so you can fit the expenditures into the proper expenditure schedule set out in the tax regulations. So this resolution authorizes us to do that if we need to do that. We're currently working on structures with the city's municipal financial advisor, and we'll come up with that prior to the time of going to market. The resolution pledges the city's unlimited tax, full faith and credit for repayment of the bonds, which means that once the bonds are issued, the city is required by law to levy taxes without limitation or rate as to rate or amount, so that they can pay, so that the city can pay the debt service when it comes due. The resolution also delegates needed authority to take the necessary actions and sign the necessary documents in order to effectuate the sale, issuance, and delivery of the bonds. And it defines the authorized officer as the city manager and finance director, among others. And then it also sets parameters within which the bonds can be sold, so that the authorized officer can't just sell bonds at whatever rate or whatever amount that they want. It's contained within this document. Are there any questions on the bond resolution?
When will taxpayers see this increase?
I'm sorry.
When will taxpayers see this increase?
Well, it depends on when the bonds are issued. So let's say if we issue bonds this summer, then it will go on the first tax roll after the bonds are issued. If we issue prior to July 1st, it would go on the July 1st tax roll.
And this is for 10 years?
I was going to ask you to speak to that. So it's a 25-year amortization, which is standard, correct?
Well, it depends. I mean, the state
for
law
this type
allows
of
up
issue.
to 30. Frequently, bonds are structured for 20 or 25 years, just depending on what the community wishes to have for its debt service profile for the particular issue.
We can change that, right? I mean, as time goes on, can we change the debt service on this? In other words, pay more toward retiring the debt?
Typically, municipal bonds are issued with a 10-year call feature, so that what that means is you issue the bonds, and for the first 10 years, you are unable to redeem them early. You can structure bonds so that they have an earlier call feature, but there's usually an interest rate increase associated with that. So typically, there's a 10-year call protection on the bonds, after which time the bonds are callable on any date prior to final maturity.
But let me just speak, so that works both ways. So we're, on other street bonds that we've issued over the years, we've used that 10-year call rate, or call timeline to go back out for a lower rate and refinance. And I think to keep in mind, these bonds are, this capital is directly debt serviced by the millage rate, whatever that may be determined in the schedule. But I don't think we could change the full amortization from 25 years after this. That's set.
No, once the bonds are issued, the amortization maturity schedule is set. You can change it by issuing additional refunding bonds to achieve a lower rate, or change the debt service schedule to a shorter duration if you wish. But that can only happen within 90 days of the call date at this point.
Yeah. I'll be retired at that point, but
Me too.
I'll be dead. Radner, it's on you.
Any questions for our bond attorney?
Madam Mayor, can I just ask him, Eric had mentioned this, but I just wanted to have him focus on this just for a second. Our financial consultant, PFM Financial Services, Carrie, could not be here this evening, so I'm hoping you can answer this on her behalf. But could you explain to them, we are looking at, based on the modeling that's going on right now, we are looking at issuing all of the bonds for the entire amount right up front, correct?
That is one of the scenarios we're considering.
Yeah.
And then the other scenario, as I said, would be to divide it into two issues. One alternative would be a larger issue this year with a smaller issue in a future year, or vice versa, have a smaller issue this year with a larger issue in the future. Trying to match that up with the project and the city's expected expenditure schedule and when they'll need the proceeds and how those will be invested and how that fits within the tax regulations. There are a number of considerations, but that is one of the options is under consideration.
So I hope I'm not opening up a whole can of worms here with this, but can you explain to them if when we issue the entire amount for all of the bonds, hypothetically, how arbitrage works with that, investment returns and so forth?
Sure. So there is a primary restriction when you issue municipal bonds is that you can't use the tax advantaged proceeds of bonds and invest them in higher yielding investments and thus earn arbitrage between what you're paying and what you're earning. That's the primary restriction in the tax code when it comes to municipal bonds. So the consideration is when you issue municipal bonds, you want to make sure you're not issuing too early, you're not issuing more than you need, and you're not leaving the bonds outstanding longer than necessary to complete the project. Those three things will tend to result in arbitrage that is prohibited by the tax code. But in true tax code fashion, whatever it giveth, it can taketh away, or vice versa. So under the tax code, they prohibit arbitrage, but then provide certain exceptions within certain time frames. And then at the same time, they also restrict what you earn. You can earn it within a certain time period. You can earn on your proceeds, but then you may have to pay it back to the federal government. That's a separate set of regulations called rebates. So you have arbitrage on one hand and a rebate on the other. So when you're considering the structure for the bonds, you have to consider both sets of regulations and make sure that the issue or the issues will fit into both sets of regulations at the same time relative to the city's project.
So within limitation, we may be able to generate more capital than we're issuing the bonds for because we'll have investment returns that we can then reinvest back into the project.
Within certain limitations,
Yeah.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then last question. The time frame from bond issuance to completion of or not completion of the project, I guess it's, what is the legal definition of we have to use the funds by a certain time frame?
Well, you could number of terms. There's a temporary period. You have to expend in order to stay within the arbitrage regulations. You have to expend all of your proceeds within 3 years from the date of issuance. And when I say all of proceeds, I actually mean an amount somewhat less than that, as defined in the tax code. But for our purposes, you have to expend your proceeds within 3 years under the arbitrage regulations.
What happens when there's a supply chain issue or somebody can't get the work done or something like that?
It's a good question. We actually ran into that frequently in the last 5 years because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It caused a lot of delays with projects, and essentially what happens is it doesn't automatically make tax-exempt bonds taxable. You have to take the proceeds and you have to put them in accounts that are yield restricted, so that they're not earning at a rate greater than the yield on the bonds.
They don't draw and quarter you then?
No.
Good to know. All right.
So do you wanna just generally what the 4 mills and taxes will be based on that?
So I know, so the financial modeling that's occurring right now, that'll come back in some form or fashion, whether it may just be in an update from me. But I know in the last model that I saw, and I don't want to commit to this, I'm just giving you information right now that I saw in a draft form, but it did say that
that it would create about 2.6 mils worth of debt service to issue these bonds, which was far less than the 4 mils we had initially thought. And again, that's still in the works, so I don't want to commit to that, but.
But that's good news.
Right, so it would have been and they can tailor that up to a certain degree over the course of the amortization. But yes, that was a good news if it stands.
Daunting.
Yeah.
I'm here
Okay.
to answer any questions you may have at any time. And the goal of having you all feel comfortable with what you're doing and how the process is moving along.
Can I ask one more question? I'm sorry. I do have one more question. And again, this might be another question that's not yours, but I'm going to ask you anyway. As we get closer to, Carrie had talked about this a little bit, but as we get closer to the actual issuance of these bonds, I'm assuming we're going to look to Standard & Poor's as our rating agency?
Yes, I believe that S&P is the rating agency that we have in mind applying for a credit rating from. And yes, as we move closer to the time when the bonds will be issued, there will be a time frame within which within which PFM will ask the city for a number of things, points of information that they then submit to S&P. S&P analyzes the credit for the city and then provides a credit rating. The credit rating process takes approximately 3 to 5 to 6 weeks to complete from start to finish. And during that time, the city will submit information through PFM. We'll receive questions back. There may be a phone conference, maybe 2 phone conferences, probably just 1, maybe 2. And then the rating agency will submit its report. And that will fit into the financing timeline so that the report is received just prior to publishing the preliminary official statement, which describes the bonds, the security, and the city.
So I promise last one. As we get into that deep dive with Standard & Poor's, yes or no, it's going to be to our benefit to not show a deficit in our budget?
Well, I'm going to have to defer to the financial advisor on the actual information that's presented to S&P on that.
Like a deficit of about 1.1 million in our budget. That kind of a deficit. So, I'm sorry, there's an inside joke.
Any more last questions?
One more last question, just kidding.
I've heard that every lawyer's biggest lie ever told is, I have one more question for you, sir. But you're not even a lawyer, so you don't get to do that.
Nope, not a lawyer. MBA, not a lawyer.
I have no questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a resolution on the table here, Madam Mayor.
Any discussion on the resolution, or are we ready to vote?
Is there a motion? I'll make the
Do we
motion.
have a motion? Okay, there's a motion, and now a second?
So moved. Second.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay,
That's a big one.
11B1, I am going to turn it over to our city clerk.
Thank you very much. I'm here to report on the Local Officers Compensation Commission. That is a group that meets every odd year to determine the salaries of our elected officials, which is the mayor, mayor pro tem, and council members. And I'd like to kind of read their mandate from the charter, if I could. The group has one purpose, and that is to, they shall determine the salaries of all elected officials of the city, which determination shall be the salaries unless the city by resolution adopted by 2/3 of the members elected and serving on the council shall reject them. The determination of the commission shall be effective 30 days following the filing with the city clerk, unless rejected by the city council. In case of the rejection, the existing salary shall prevail. So the council or the commission met on March 6th this past March 6th. It's a 7-member board that meets again every 2 years. They do good work, and they voted at that meeting after they considered mainly the health of the city, and they looked at the raises that staff had received in the last 2 years. And they voted to increase the salaries by 3%. So, so that exists, that amount, if you'd be interested. The mayor for the year would make $6,471 in the year. Mayor Pro Tem, $5,394. And council members would make $5,034. So that's the report. There's no action necessary unless council wanted to reject them, that determination.
So we need a motion to reject if we're going to?
No, we need 4 votes to pass it.
Do we
And
need
I'm not going to vote
pass?
for it.
The proper way, if someone wanted to, would be to approve it, and then, so a no vote would be a no vote, yes.
So the motion is to approve the increase and then vote no.
If you want,
Right.
and it would take 4 of you to do that.
Right, well, we need 4 people to vote yes. Right? We need 66%. There's 5 people. That means we need 4 people to say yes. It happens automatically unless one of us votes no, or unless 4 people vote yes.
4 would have to vote no. Is that correct?
I would propose that, again, it's automatic unless you vote to reject it. So the motion would be that you want a motion to reject it if that's what you choose to do. And then 4 of you would have to vote yes, which would be a rejection
Okay.
of what otherwise would go into effect statutorily.
Okay, well then, I will make the motion to reject it.
Is there a second?
There may not be.
Can I second?
I don't know. Is the mayor allowed a second?
No.
Okay, so it does.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I appreciate what the members are doing, and I appreciate their work. Personally, I'm not comfortable voting myself an increase of anything, especially with the court thing going on and all the rest of that. It's a small pittance, but that's my opinion. Is there another opinion you'd like to voice?
I think it sends the wrong message.
Which is?
If we're raising water rates and raising taxes and having bond issues and millages, it's $100 raise per person. We're not talking big money. It's just, I think it's the wrong message.
It's just the idea.
Yeah,
Well, we rejected it last year, I think.
Yeah.
Wasn't it last year?
yeah, 2 years
2
ago.
years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, we did.
So when was the last time that we got a bump?
Would have been 4 years ago.
No, more than that, because it got rejected then too. It didn't?
No, it was 4 years ago. It was I believe a 3% increase, which is what we have right now.
Oh, all right. So there you go, 4 years ago.
All right. Any further discussion? Do you want a roll call vote?
Now, what are we voting?
We are voting.
We're voting yes.
We're voting
Yes
yes that
to
we don't
reject, okay.
want, yes that we don't want the
Okay.
increase.
I'm sorry, I'm voting against, I'm voting.
That's fine, that's fine. No, we don't always have to be the same.
Okay.
Carolyn always has to vote for it.
So I will begin with Councilmember Radner.
No, I know. I am voting yes to reject it.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
No.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes. Now what happens? You automatically get the raise? What?
Yeah.
The raise occurs because we couldn't.
Oh, that's right. We need 4 no, okay, right. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And let me just add that, you know, we are at meetings quite a bit. I know I put in a lot of time, and and I'm committed to the city. I would be committed anyway, but I think that this reflects just what we do and the amount of time we're putting in, so.
Okay, 11C1, we have our city engineer, Kara Grissomer here. Hi, Kara.
Before you, we have pay application number 3 and change order number 1 for the 2024 sewer and catch basin cleaning and TV inspection project M774 in the amounts of $78,616.34 and $1,364.35 respectively.
Okay, first, we need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Then, why the change order?
The change order, when we were videoing the sewer along Clover Lawn, we found a plumber's drain snake that
What?
was sticking out into our main, and it required specialized equipment to remove it.
Plumber's drain snake.
Just a plumber, like, just doing work on Clover Lawn?
It had been stuck there for some time, so they must have abandoned it.
Huh. That cost $1,000?
Yes, it was the specialized equipment that they mobilized to the site and used it to cut the drain snake at the main.
All right. We have a motion, right, and a second, correct? Discussion? A roll call, please.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes,
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
motion carried, thank you.
Okay, 11C2, we have a resolution in support for the T-Mobile Hometown Grant. We have our Director of Municipal Services, Kimberly Maroney, is here with us. Hi, Kim.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members. So we, as part of the CIA, take a look at a lot of grants that are available, and Michelle Bishop, our CIA manager, noticed the T-Mobile Hometown Grant. And after her and I had a long discussion, we decided that applying for doing a new mural in the 11-mile parking lot, since we're doing all of the improvements there, would be a great way to offset some of our costs. So we are applying for a $50,000 grant through T-Mobile, and we need the resolution in order to do so.
Oh, wonderful. So is that ugly gray wall?
It is. We hope to make it not ugly.
Oh, okay. And do we have a plan for it, what it's supposed to look like, or is that premature?
We would do something similar that we did on 9 Mile Road with the art pieces that we put in place, and do an RFP process and solicit input.
Okay, we need a motion for the resolution to support the grant.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We all like grants.
We like grants.
Even when Crystal's not here.
Even when Crystal's not here, we still do grants.
50,000 will get us more than one mural.
It very well could. 11D1, I would like to ask our Finance Director, Sandra Crawford, to join me at the podium, please. Hi, Sandra.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, City Manager Tongate. Before you, item 11D1 is the subject is a resolution authorizing the city assessor to prepare special assessment rolls assessing unpaid charges together with a 10% penalty on private property for delinquent utilities that total $412,353.13, false alarms that total $1,155, miscellaneous concrete replacement, $3,286.49, and property blight totaling $39,368.39. The Deputy Treasurer has submitted a list of properties that have outstanding charges for the delinquent utilities, false alarms, miscellaneous concrete replacement, and property blight, and is requesting that the city assessor be authorized and directed to prepare special assessment rolls, assessing unpaid charges together with a penalty of 10% to the real property tax roll. The recommended action is to adopt the attached resolution authorizing and directing the city assessor to prepare special assessment roll.
Okay, we need a motion for this resolution authorizing the city assessor to prepare the rolls.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Discussion? Do we need a roll call for that? Nope, just all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, Sandra, 11D2 as well, please.
Yes. This here is requesting, after receiving the resolution for the special assessment rolls, this is to establish April 7th, 2025 as the date for the public hearing on the rolls for unpaid charges for city expenses incurred on private premises for delinquent utilities, special assessment number 721, false alarms, special assessment number 722, miscellaneous concrete replacement, special assessment number 723, and property blight, special assessment number 724. At this current meeting, the City Council has received the list of unpaid charges incurred on private premises, prepared by the Deputy Treasurer and concurred by myself, the Finance Director, and the directed that the special assessment rolls be prepared. The recommended action is to adopt the special assessment resolution number 8, which is attached, receiving special assessment rolls 721, 722, 723, and 724, and establishing April 7th, 2025 as the date for the public hearing on the rolls of unpaid charges for expenses incurred on private premises.
Okay, there's a motion to adopt this resolution. Thank you. Thank you. Have residents been notified yet?
They will be after this meeting.
After this meeting?
The city clerk will
And
send
so,
those out.
when will we, ways to, if you have a problem with it or a question about it or disagree with it?
Right, tomorrow, he will be mailing out the public hearing notices, and then they will have that information on those notices for that. And then they can come to the public hearing on April 7th if they want to contest or what have you. But they also can pay as well.
They can come in and pay, or they can, if they disagree, they can,
If they disagree, they can either come by letter or mail, as long as it gets here in a timely fashion. And then, I guess as long as if they mailed it, it would be as long as they got here by April 7th, the day of the public hearing. Everything would have to be in on April 7th if they were contesting it, whether they came in, mailed, or what have you. Those are the only two ways. But I believe all that is listed on the notice that Ed will send out, the city clerk
so
sends out
if you
tomorrow.
get the letter, get back to the city, either pay or,
Right, once they come, we will, at the April 7th, if, for those that want to have it reviewed or we have to research it, we will remove it at that time from the roll and then research it and then come back to you. I believe they'll send out, the city clerk again will send out in April 8th, the next day after the public hearing, the special assessment notice excluding the exceptions, and then they will come back for a decision by the May 5th city council meeting.
May 5th. Okay. Did we get a motion on this? Yep. Any questions or discussion?
I have a question for the miscellaneous concrete replacement. Is that for residents who were instructed that they had to fix something in
that
their
would
property
be-
and they did not, or?
Municipal Services, if they can help me with that, one moment.
Good evening. The miscellaneous concrete is for where we got sidewalk complaints about specific properties and causing trip hazards on their public sidewalk. And so we went ahead and replaced those sidewalk flags that were out of specification, and the homeowners are charged what we are charged by the contractor.
Okay, thank you.
So if they're on this list, they would be the ones that haven't paid
Yes,
that so
all
far?
these are delinquent charges that have not been paid.
Okay.
Does the miscellaneous concrete also include the sidewalk project? It does not.
No.
Okay, voice vote? Yeah. All those in favor of adopting this resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, 11E1, Deputy City Manager DeCoster, please join me at the podium, sir, for the grand finale,
Hello again.
almost.
Sorry, I think I made a little mistake. Mayor, this is the contract for landscape maintenance. So
Oh.
I applied it to the agenda in two different spots. I apologize.
This, okay.
But this, very similar to the lawn maintenance program. This is an extension of the 2024 landscape maintenance program. Again, similar to that project, we were asking for a 7.5% change order with this project. It is recommended that City Council approve the contract extension to Capital Landscapes of Oak Park, Michigan for the 2025 landscape maintenance contract for a total amount of $72,275.48. This does include the change order in the amount of $5,042.47. Funding is available in the major streets, local streets, and public works funds for this expenditure. And this money is for the 2025 calendar year.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this request for a contract extension?
So moved.
Thank you. Now I can complain, because I go to Lincoln Drugs all the time, and half the bushes on the south side all died. One of the trees died, and the bushes were not replaced on that one side.
Yeah, we plan to get those this year. We had an issue with one of our suppliers from a couple years ago, replacing those dead trees and bushes. So our plan is to take care of it this spring.
This summer, this spring?
Spring, yeah.
This spring. All right. Right next to Lincoln Drugs, there is an oval garden. And we had a big planter there that people said looked like holds coffins. So we wanted something prettier. So we had dead trees and missing bushes. So the mayor was not pleased. All right. Yeah. Okay. All those in favor of the contract extension, or do we need a roll call?
We should roll call this,
Okay,
please.
roll call, please.
Councilmember Edgar?
Yes.
Mayor McClellan?
Yes.
Councilmember Radner? Councilmember Crawford?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, and item F is me, and I know we have a brief video, council members. I did an internal update for the staff, and I thought this would be appropriate to share as it gives an update about the Elevate Oak Park initiatives, as well as the I-696 construction project, which I know everybody is thoroughly enjoying at this stage in the game. So Benny, if you could show the video, please, sir. First on the docket is the Event Hub project, a product of the Parks and Recreation Master Plan and resulting Elevate Oak Park initiative. This effort involved robust community input and the ultimate passage of 2 related millages. That means that the city now has the funding in place to make this vision a reality. Phase 1 includes a new event hub and band shell, breaking ground this spring right here between City Hall and our library. The Event Hub will be a Four Seasons facility spanning nearly 4,200 square feet, including banquet and meeting room space equipped with integrated audio-visual technology, a 1,400 square foot commercial kitchen, roll-up garage doors allowing for open-air events, and our farmers market, rain or shine. Additionally, plans include an adjacent elevated band shell that will host our signature summer concert series and provide community groups with a location to showcase talents and gather with their friends. Phase 2 of the Elevate Oak Park project will feature a new community center, including an indoor track, an all-season pool, updated play equipment, and much more. The city is taking the initial steps to begin preliminary planning for this project. The current pool and community center will remain open for activities and fun this spring and summer. Another exciting project taking shape beginning in April is the Oak Park Woods at Shepherd Park project, a regional investment right here in Oak Park. Oakland County Parks and Recreation has committed to upgrading playscapes, adding an accessible nature-themed playground, new bathrooms, pavilion renovation, and more in our community's most utilized, centrally located, and well-loved outdoor recreation area, while still maintaining some of the signature aspects such as wooded trails, giant trees, and even our beloved train. Employee picnics are about to level up, that's for sure. Construction on the Oak Park Woods at Shepherd Park project is expected to last through November 2025. A less exciting but also much needed upgrade is taking place on I-696 beginning in early March as part of MDOT's Restore the Ruther project. The eastbound and westbound I-696 lanes will be rebuilt between Losser Road and I-75 in 2025-26. While in 2027, I-696 will have major road work done between I-75 and DeQuinder Road. The project includes rebuilding the roadway, bridge work, and drainage structures. As part of the project, 60 bridges will be repaired, including the rebuilding of the Church Street Plaza Bridge that contains Victoria Park. During that rebuilding, a walkway detour will be in place. So please note, if you travel I-696 to get to and from work, only westbound travel will be open for the duration of the construction. While more information is coming, you can expect delays and possible ramp closures throughout the project. Westbound traffic will be maintained while eastbound and westbound I-696 are rebuilt between Losser Road and I-75. However, eastbound traffic will be detoured via southbound M10 The Lodge, eastbound M8 The Davison, or northbound I-75 back to eastbound I-696. Project information is available at drivingoakland.com.
Well done. Beautiful.
I wish I could take any credit for that whatsoever. The communications staff deserves all the credit for that, so thank you very much. Madam Mayor, members of council, that completes the city manager report for this evening. Thank you.
Do you want to read the call to the audience paragraph?
I have Ken Sherman would like to speak. Are you?
Yep.
Yeah, he does know it.
He knows.
Ken, are you familiar with this?
Yeah.
You know the rules, right?
Is it on? Is the light on green?
Yeah, it's on green. I have two issues to bring up. One, non-emergency city offices continue to remain closed to the public every other Friday. I am seeking clarification from the city as to why that is. Is this for financial saving purposes? On the Fridays that city offices are closed, are those city employees who normally staff those services not working? If you are unable to provide me with an answer today, then I look forward to receiving a written reply to my question. My second issue is there are many city postings on both Oak Park Neighbors and Oak Park Forum Facebook sites, either posted directly by the city or by others as informational postings. When I raised the question as to why Oak Park Neighbors was posting Oak Park political ads in direct violation of their policy, I was accused by their administrator of creating drama and kicked off of their site. I think the city should give serious considerations to their continued postings on the Oak Park Neighbor Facebook site. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there another? That's it? Can you answer the question? About the non-emergency offices being closed every other Friday?
Sure. We actually used to be closed every Friday, so we added a day back. So in an attempt to be around better for our residents. But to answer your question, there is a cost savings associated with that, and those Fridays were cut out actually right before my arrival in 2011 to save money. So employees that don't work on those days are paid for 72 hours of work, not 80.
Thank you. Let's see. Benny, do you have any photos for me up there? Not? While Benny's getting those ready, maybe. I received a letter that I would like to share with you. It's a bit of a tearjerker. It is written by Sarah Radner, our council member's mother. Dear Mayor McClellan, please consider this letter of appreciation and farewell to Carolyn Burns, who recently retired from the Oak Park City Council. I always felt like the city of Oak Park was in good hands when I attended city council meetings to watch my son Solomon in action, quite frankly, and saw Miss Burns on the dais. Although her biography says she was first elected in November 2013, it seems like Ms. Burns has been on the council forever, serving the people of Oak Park with intelligence and devotion. Oak Park citizens' appreciation for Ms. Burns is apparent in the number of times that Ms. Burns served as mayor pro tem, which meant she received the most votes of any candidate when she ran for re-election. Obviously, I'm not the only Oak Park citizen to appreciate Ms. Burns. I would like her to know that her efforts on behalf of our city and citizens are valued and appreciated. Watching Solomon work for the city in ways that no one knows, I can only imagine the hours Ms. Burns, too, spent for years and years behind the scenes doing the untold work that really matters in any organization. I hope that whatever health issues Ms. Burns' resignation resolve themselves quickly and positively, and that Ms. Burns can retake her seat on the Oak Park City Council soon. Thank you to Ms. Burns. I'm honored to have met you and wish you well in the future. Kindly convey my good wishes to her upon her retirement. Very truly yours, Sarah Radner. That's beautiful. Is Benny there with pictures or? Aha. So we have neighborhood groups in Oak Park. And this one is the East Oak Park Neighborhood Association. And at this one, a Huntington Woods resident who was on the board of the zoo came with the history of the zoo. So it was kind of a fascinating history. I know way back, I think shortly after it became a village, a resident told me that monkeys would escape the zoo and they would be up her grandfather's tree. So that goes back a while. Then March is reading month. I went to Einstein School, and I read the story Fu Finds the Way, about there's a correct way to do everything, whether it's your homework or your chores or anything, and Fu discovers that it's good to do it the right way. The whole school right now is reading one book, that book that you first saw about Humphrey. And the principal, The World According to Humphrey, who is this little critter, the principal, who is a really good sport, bought a big cage for the office, bought a gerbil for the cage, for the kids to come and visit. There's Humphrey too, I guess. And then there's a stuffed Humphrey that she hides somewhere in the hall. So the kids every day go around the hall looking to find Humphrey in the hall. And I just thought, she's making school fun for those kids. It's really neat. Is there anything else? I think there's some pictures of our new canine officer also down the way. We welcome him and wish everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day, happy Purim, and happy whatever else you're celebrating. Thank you for your time. Councilmember Julie Edgar.
Thank you for coming out and for watching. A lot of good news tonight. One, that we have very few foreclosures in Oak Park, which is fantastic. And that we are finally going to issue bonds to build a fantastic community center. Very excited about that. It's going to be a major addition to the city, really positive. So, thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Councilmember Solomon Radner.
Good, everybody.
New Councilmember Stephanie Crawford.
Thank everyone for coming out and watching, and for anyone celebrating today, drink responsibly, don't drink and drive, be safe.
Amen. There being no further business to come before this council, this meeting is adjourned.